Welcome in, Bills Mafia. Welcome back to another edition of the Go Bills podcast presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. I am your host and founder of the page, Brett McDurphy. Glad to be with you on this Saturday evening. We have a doubleheader today that we're going to be doing. We're kind of running the baseball trend that's going around. We're going to be doing a doubleheader tonight. First show that we're going to be doing is the show that's going to be on our channel, and then we also have another show that we're going to be doing as well on the Nickel City Mafia's YouTube channel. So the first show that we're going to be doing is on my channel, and then the next show is going to be on the on the Nickel City Mafia, the Red, White, and Ruthless show. So today we're going to be discussing the Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars game that is going to be taking place in London, and as you've already seen happen, Bills Mafia has taken over the London, and it has been incredible. So we get to experience that. We've seen a lot of different people come over from the... I apologize, everybody. My sound did not come out of the right sound, but we have it fixed now. I do apologize about that, guys. Hopefully we fixed that. We did have a sound issue that was coming out, so I do apologize about that. Hopefully you can hear me better. So I do apologize for that one. But as I was saying, we are going to be doing a doubleheader tonight. It's going to be on the Nickel City Mafia and my channel. For the first show that we're doing, the first show is going to be on the Go Bills podcast. Next show is going to be on the YouTube channels and Facebook channel of the Nickel City Mafia. So tune in at 8:30 if you're available. Check out that show with myself and Sean Kula from the Red, White, and Bills. And then we'll also be doing this show as well, the pregame show for the Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars game. So as I was saying, we have seen Buffalo take over London, and it has been incredible. You've seen a ton of athletes that have come over to represent the Buffalo Bills. You saw Fred Jackson, Stevie Johnson, even Andre Reed, who has a promotion going on with Big Game Travel that has been a bunch of fun. We've seen a lot of Bills Mafia get involved in that. It's been incredible. There's a meet and greet session that's going on with them as well. So if you're interested in going to your next Bills game and you're looking to get involved with that, shoot me a message and see if you're interested in going to a Bills game and how we can hook you up with the right people in order to get you in touch with the right ones so that you can get a great deal on your Bills game and your experience that you're going to have. So let's get into the Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars pregame show that we're going to be doing today. And we have a really fun one that we're going to be doing tonight. This one is going to be for the Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2-2 currently right now. Buffalo Bills 3-1. They are going to meet Sunday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Kickoff is set to begin at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on NFL Network. So if you're interested in going or in getting up early and watching the game, obviously you are because you're Buffalo Bills fans. You're going to be in your PJs experiencing this. I'm going to have a lot of family over. We're going to watch this game, and it's going to be a fun one. What better than to start your morning off with a cup of coffee, some breakfast, and you get to watch your Buffalo Bills play. And also, I want to take a moment to thank Kathy Hochul, who has opened up bars in Buffalo at 8 a.m. to serve alcohol, which is going to be great. You know the Bills Mafia is going to be drinking. They're probably going to be hungover from the night before. Remember that in Buffalo, bars close at 4 a.m. So it's only 4 hours you're going to be without alcohol on this morning. So it's going to be great to see, and it's going to be fun. But let's get back into it. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be playing its second game in a row in London after defeating the Atlanta Falcons 23-7 as a 3-point favorite last Sunday. Jacksonville was the home team in that contest, which took place at Wembley Stadium. It will be designated as a road game for the Jaguars against the Buffalo Bills in this game. The Bills are coming off of 3 straight wins by at least 28 points. They are also going to coming off of their most recent win, which was a 48-20 win as 3-point favorites over the Miami Dolphins last Sunday. The win put them in first place in the AFC East as well, and they are now rolling after a disappointing first week in week 1 where Josh Allen threw 4 turnovers, and he has completely improved each week. Last week, he cultivated a 84% completion percentage for 320 yards along with 4 touchdowns, while also having a rushing touchdown as well. And Allen has gotten himself back into the MVP form, which we have expected him to do. Now let's go over the injuries for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Buffalo Bills. The Jaguars are going to be without without cornerback Christian Braswell with a hamstring injury, and they'll also be without Devin Lloyd with a thumb injury. And then 2 wide receivers are questionable for this game. One you definitely have heard of, Zay Jones, questionable with a knee injury, who is going to be playing against his former team. And then Jamal Agnew, who, if you remember back to a couple of years ago, Agnew had a big run on the Buffalo Bills as a wide receiver, and he had a big touchdown run in that game against Buffalo. As for the Buffalo Bills, they will have Von Miller on a pitch count this week with a ACL injury, so he'll be on a pitch count this week. And then Greg Rousseau will be out with a foot injury. The Bills also placed Von Miller on the active list and moved Tre'Davious White to the injured reserve. He will be done for the season with that Achilles injury. And then we also have 2 players that were called up for the game. Jamarcus Ingram, cornerback, was called up. You may know him from his days at the University of Buffalo. This will be the first time that he's been called up this year. And then Kendall Vickers, another defensive lineman, has been called up for this game. So we have to wonder what the Bills are going to do with their active and inactive rosters. So who is going to be active? Who's going to be inactive? Could we possibly see a couple of moves where Buffalo decides to make Poona Ford inactive again over Kendall Vickers? Or are we going to see Poona Ford active and possibly Kendall Vickers be inactive this week? Also have to figure out whether Jamarcus Ingram is going to be active, or is it going to be Kaiir Elam, the first-round draft pick by the Buffalo Bills? Is he going to be active as well, which is highly expected that he will. The Bills are going to be traveling over to London. They did arrive on Thursday to London, but this game is going to be on a much different field than what the Jaguars played on last week, which was a grass field. This game is going to be played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a stadium built with input from the NFL to make it more conducive to NFL games. It has a field turf surface, and in the last 2 matchups were hosted in 2022. So they had 2 games last year in 2022, and this is going to be an awesome game to watch with a lot of high scoring offense. The Bills have been averaging 41 points per game in the last 3 games. It could be a big game if you're a betting person and you're going to bet the over or under. You might want to take the over on this low. I think it's a little low for what it should be. This should be closer to 52, but it's at 48.5. So definitely take the over in this game. I think that's going to be a safe bet for you. But let's look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and look at their team. They are coming off of a couple of disappointing games, you got to remember, but the Jacksonville Jaguars are a good team that has a lot of upside. You have guys like Trevor Lawrence, you have Travis Etienne. You also have Evan Ingram as well, a tight end that has been very productive throughout his career. But this is going to be a game where the Bills are going to have to really be focused, and they're coming off of a team that has a ton of depth at their defensive line. And you got to remember another guy that we have to be worrisome of, which is going to be the other Josh Allen, the defensive player, Josh Allen, who was projected a few years ago to go to Buffalo and be the Josh Allen that's going to be on the field on defense. But he's coming off of a red-hot performance both Josh Allens are. And this Josh Allen defensively is coming off of a 3-sack performance against the Falcons. So we have to make sure that we are going to be stopping him, not letting him get into the backfield and injure our Josh Allen this week. The Jaguars, Josh has owned the Bills' Josh Allen, and in a shocking upset a few years ago, it was actually 2 years ago. This Jacksonville game is going to be a big game for them, but this one is going to be a rematch, and it's going to be one that the Bills are going to want to get a win on, because this has been a team that has struggled against the Jacksonville Jaguars and kind of have underperformed a lot lately against them. The Bills are opening up as 5.5-point favorites. That's going to be a little bit too high, I believe. But the Bills are going to have to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to perform. But let's get into the keys to the game for us, presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. A few keys to the game for me are going to be Buffalo has to be very good at pass protection in this game. They got to watch out for the Josh Allen on the other side of the ball, which is the one that I'm more worried about. So Buffalo has to do a good job of making sure that they are keeping up with Josh Allen, making sure that they know where he is on the field. Now, guys, again, I'm going to emphasize this as many times as I can. Remember that there's going to be a Josh Allen on the field every time that the Bills are on offense. So we have Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. There's also a Josh Allen for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Know where the Josh Allen of the Jaguars defensive line is at all times on the field. You also have to remember the Jacksonville Jaguars have another defensive player that is very good as well in Trayvon Walker as well. So you have to worry about him as well. And they have been playing pretty good ball together as well. So you have to worry about them as well. And this Jacksonville Jaguars team is very good as far as their depth as well. They have a ton of playmakers on their defense that has been better than most people expected, but they will be without one of their linebackers in Devin Lloyd. Another player that you're going to have to worry about as well is Darius Williams, who's going to be going up against our Stephon Diggs. And I think that this is a great matchup for Stephon Diggs, because I think he's going to light up this team. And I think it's going to be very fun for him. Remember back to last week and how many points he put on, or how many scores he put on the board. 3 touchdowns last week, and he is back in that number 1 wide receiver race for the most receiving yards this year. So we just have to get him the ball, make sure we get him the ball in space. But for me, some of the keys to the game come down to Josh Allen taking care of the ball, getting it to all his playmakers, making sure that he's moving the ball around to different guys, and doing the same thing that he's done the last 3 weeks that has been productive in making sure that he's not turning the ball over, but also getting the ball to his checkdowns and taking the shots down the field when he sees it as well. As far as the defense of the Buffalo Bills, you have to worry about Travis Etienne to begin the game, as well as Tank Bigsby. They're two-headed tandem that they have. Bigsby is a rookie this year, but Travis Etienne is another guy that is going to be somebody that you're going to have to worry about. He has a ton of speed, and he can dictate the play of the game. So you have to make sure that you're stopping Travis Etienne, and you have to stop him not only in the run game, but also the passing game. He's been getting involved in the passing game as well. As far as the wide receivers go for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're going to have to worry about a guy in Calvin Ridley as well as Christian Kirk. And if Zay Jones plays, that's a 3-headed tandem that I think the Bills are going to match up very well with. This is a team that Calvin Ridley is your speedster guy. Zay Jones is more of your slot guy. And then you have Christian Kirk as another receiver that's been playing some pretty good ball as of lately. But I think the Bills are going to be up for the task. They have not only Dane Jackson out there, but you also have Christian Benford, who's been playing very good football lately, and I think they're gonna be up for the task. And then you also have Taron Johnson, and then if Kaiir Elam is activated for this game, I think that's a very good four-headed tandem that's going to be out there on the field for the Buffalo Bills as well. So this is going to be a great game for the Bills to match up against, and I think the Bills are going to do a good job. We have John Robert coming in on Facebook, and he said that the Bills called up 2 players from the practice squad. Yes, they did. We already got into that earlier, but I will tell you the 2 players that got called up. Kendall Vickers, a defensive tackle, got called up, and then we also had Jamarcus Ingram, who is a Buffalo pretty much native now. He's been in Buffalo for the past, I believe, 6 years. So he played for the University of Buffalo, and then he also has played for the Buffalo Bills for the last few years. So I believe that makes him kind of a native now. So he's pretty much been there for a while. So it's great to see that the Bills are calling up 2 players to their active roster, but I do believe that this is going to be a situation where the Bills are going to be using these players as inactives for this game. Remember, you can use them and call them up 3 times before you have to sign them to their active roster. So I believe this is going to be one of the times that you're going to use them. And it's a good way to utilize them on your inactive sheets, even though that they are great players and they could very well be on the active roster for the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Bills are coming into this game with not a lot of injuries right now. The only one, Greg Rousseau, that's going to be out of this game. But this should be a game that we can look forward to, and it should be a fun one. Sarah Christine's coming in on YouTube as well. She said that she is worried that Benford might not play. And why did we activate a defensive tackle? I do believe that that's kind of a situation where the Bills are just playing their bets. I think that they're kind of playing with the inactive sheets a little bit, but Benford came back into the game last week, and I think that he's going to be active for this game. He did have that shoulder injury, but remember, he did come back into the game. Unless he re-aggravated it during the week, that could very well be. But I do think that Christian Benford will be active in this game. And as far as Kendall Vickers, I do believe that that's kind of a situation where possibly Buffalo wants to see what Vickers can do. Maybe they make Poona Ford inactive again, but that's to be determined. John Robert on Facebook said that, did you talk about Vaughn already? Yes, I did. I already went over the transactions that have happened throughout the day. So the Bills did activate Von Miller, who is expected to be on a pitch count. And then we do expect to see, we already saw, Tre'Davious White is going to be on injured reserve. That's the move that they did today, that they finally put him on injured reserve to activate Von Miller. Sarah Christine said that Benford and Shaq are questionable for this game too. I do think that both of them are going to be okay. I think both of them will play, but they might be on a pitch count. That might be one of the reasons why Buffalo is calling up these players to the active roster as well. But let's get into the other keys to the game for me. We have already discussed a couple of them already. For the folks that are just coming into the channel, we did discuss a couple of keys to the game, which is for the Buffalo Bills and the so let me get this straight real quick. I do have a comment from Sarah Christine. She said that we're supposed to be on the Nickel City Mafia podcast at 8 o'clock, actually 8:30. So we will be on very shortly. So we'll be wrapping up very shortly. But we are good to go. We do have it at 8:30. If I'm checking correct, which I will double check on the GoBillsPodcast.com real quick, just to make sure I'm not doubling myself up. But I do believe I have the Red, White, and Roofless, which is going to be Saturday night, which is tonight, 8:30 p.m. So, Sarah, thank you for checking and making sure that I'm not double booking myself, which we are good. Still have 35-ish minutes, but we're going to try and get off a little bit early tonight. We're not going to go too long. We usually like to keep these shows to about 30 minutes. So we will be right on the border of that 30-minute mark, but we'll have a 30-minute break, get to have some snacks, which you kind of worried me about, because if it was at 8 o'clock, I wouldn't be able to eat, which would really disappoint me as well. But let's get into the other keys to the game. We've already discussed a couple of them. First one that we discussed is the Bills going against this three-headed tandem at wide receivers. The Bills defensive backs versus the defense or the wide receivers room for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver room has kind of disappointed this year. And you have Calvin Ridley, who's dropped a couple of touchdown passes. So that's one thing that's kind of concerning. Could he get it under control? We don't know. But if the Bills played their cards right, I do think that this is a game that Dane Jackson, Christian Benford, and Taron Johnson are going to have a good game as well. Sarah Christine said that she's not trying to worry me, but she saw a notification just now for the Nickel City Mafia. Yes, so you should have seen a notification from the Nickel City Mafia, which means that that'll be a 30-minute warning that we are going to be going live in 30 minutes. So that's the first one that you'll see. Just letting you know, it tries to get as many people out there to watch the show as well. But we will be doing double duty. We're having a double header tonight. And in baseball terms, because it's almost the end of the year, we're pulling double duty. We were supposed to have the show last night. Unfortunately, we had a issue in our family, which made it so that we couldn't be able to do the show. And I want to send my thoughts and prayers to the family members. They know who they are. They watch the shows after we do them to give me feedback, but you know who you are. And I want to send my thoughts and prayers to my family. And as we get through this difficult time as well. John Roberts said, do you think Elam will be active for this game? And I do believe that they will. And Sarah Christine said that that's smart. That is smart. That's actually something that YouTube has created. So it's not us. We're not the smart ones that did it, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But let's get into the other keys to the game. And we talked about Josh Allen being smart with the football as well on offense. But I think this is a game where the offensive line of the Buffalo Bills is going to have to be very smart as well. So we're going to see them be very smart out there. Make sure that they are doing a great job of protecting themselves from the other Josh Allen. So you got to make sure that you know where he is on the field. Remember back to a couple of weeks ago when we played the Raiders, and they did a phenomenal job. They went 2 weeks without allowing a sack. And we have 3 players on our offensive line that have not allowed a sack so far this year. Might not guess it, but those 3 players, Mitch Morse and Deion Dawkins, as well as Osiris Torrance, have not allowed a sack this year. So we'll see what the Bills can do against this defensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars and how they perform, which I do expect them to do a great job as well. Other keys to the game for the Buffalo Bills. I do think that this is a similar game to playing against the Las Vegas Raiders, which we did a great job of. It comes down to making sure that we are taking care of the football on offense and also running the football as well. If the Bills can do that this week, I think that we will win this game very easily. Speaking of score predictions for the game, I do have the Buffalo Bills winning this game pretty big this week. After traveling overseas to London, I think the Bills are going to come out of this game with a staple point to the NFL, showing that they are the best team in the AFC. I have the Bills winning this game 37-14 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that that's a great score prediction. Let us know your score predictions in the comments below. We greatly appreciate all the comments that came in. We also appreciate all the prayers that you guys have said, and as well as the family comes first. I do appreciate that, guys. Don't want to get into it too much. I want to keep it as private as possible with what happened last night. Unfortunate news for the family, but we will get through it. And it was just a very rough day in my family in terms of what we experienced. And they are close to me. Nobody in my immediate family, as far as mother and father, that anything happened there, but a close member of the family that we had to deal with a situation there. So a couple of situations have happened during the week. It's been a little bit of a rough week, not only with the family, but some of our extended family as well. So we're getting through it. We're working through it, and we'll continue to persevere and get through that and deal with the situation that we have. But we will keep God in our prayers, keep God in our thoughts, and let God do his work as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all our social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, as well as on our website, gobillspodcast.com. We are also on Threads as well if you're interested in following us on Threads as well. And we will have that available as well. Also, I want to take a moment to comment on John Robert, who said that the game will be on Channel 29 in Buffalo, as well as NFL Network and other places, which is very important to know. I have heard rumors, guys, though, and I want to make sure everybody knows this. The game is going to be on NFL Network. It might be blacked out, which is something that I've heard. Hopefully, if you're in the area and you've heard this, double check and just make sure that you're going to go. It's going to be on your channel. If not, it's going to be on NFLplus.com. Click on over to NFLplus.com. You can find your subscription as well. Just sign up. I think you get a free month. Don't tell anybody I told you this. Sign up for your free month. You can cancel it after your free month. But this has been the Go Bills Podcast. We will see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills Podcast. We will be live again on the channel tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. Kind of seems weird to say that, though, but we will be live at 9 o'clock. Bright and early, we'll be ready for the Buffalo Bills game. But we will also be live doing double duty tonight on the Nickel City Mafia's YouTube channel and Facebook channel. If you're interested in watching the Red, White, and Ruthless show tonight, that'll be going live at 8:30 p.m., so just about 30 minutes away. We'll be going live then. This has been the Go Bills Podcast. We'll see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills Podcast. Until then, Go Bills.